Hello, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Actually, can you see me a little clearer than most weeks?
Yeah, actually, it looks
Sweet.
great.
I noticed the glare is gone in my glasses, which is nice.
That's awesome.
I switched the camera thing up. I was like, I gotta change something. So
Right? Well, tonight we have an amazing guest speaker. It just gets better and better every show.
here it
Um,
does.
would you like to introduce our special guest since you
Uh,
are good friends?
I would absolutely love to. So we have Psychic Medium Patty Griffin. She is amazing. Had the pleasure of working with her, and we're excited to have you on, Patty.
Hi, thank you so
Hi.
much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
We're so
As are
happy
we.
you're here. So, let's
Oop.
start by asking what got you,
Can you hear
what was your
everybody?
first,
Yes,
can you hear everyone? Okay.
Oh, I
I
can't hear you, Raven.
Can you hear me now?
Go
I
ahead.
you.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear Raven. Oh no. Can you hear Raven, Patty?
I can hear her. Yes, perfectly
You
clear.
can. Weird. There's something on my end. Then I apologize.
And she
That's
sounds like
okay.
they do the commercial. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that's weird.
uh,
Okay,
how about now? Can you hear me now?
still can't. That's so weird.
That
Hey,
is
Chris, you may have to go out and come back in.
Sorry, you can go
Raven,
ahead. I'll figure it out.
can he hear me? Can you hear me, Raven?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
You
Chris,
can
if
hear
you can
me.
hear me, if you
I'm
can
reading
hear
your lips right
me,
now. That's why.
he can't hear me. Okay, I'll message him.
Okay. So, Patty, I'm so excited that you're here. I was going to ask you, what was your very first experience with mediumship?
wow. That's a really, really good question. And it's hard for me to pinpoint it because there were so many times that I was doing mediumship and not knowing that I was doing it. For instance, when I was 11, 12, 13 years old, people would ask me to write like autobiographies about somebody that had passed. And I would actually write a story about someone like I knew them. And I thought it was just because I was a writer. So
Oh,
things like that,
wow.
like my whole life happened, and people would say, and I was always fascinated by mediums. I loved them. And they would say, "You're a medium." I'm like, no, no, no. I just like them. But I could tell you the point where it came when I knew I had to go professional, like because I really didn't realize. Like I knew like I could do messages and I knew that I could talk to the dead, but I never considered it mediumship. Like, is that weird?
No,
That's
it's not weird. Makes
yeah.
sense.
I never really knew. And I would go see John Edward and I would bring people there and things like that. And what happened was about 12 years ago, there was a woman who was a friend of mine and she called me up and she said, I need you, to come to my house. Everything's breaking. She said, and I don't know why. And she's like, and I want you to come over. And I'm like, what do I look like? Ghostbusters or us? I'm like, what do you want me to do? And I really to this day don't know how she knew to call me. So I went over and her best friend, Annie, had passed away. She was a very
Hmm.
religious woman. I didn't know her. And I started reading her. I started saying, she's talking about a diamond necklace. She's talking about Betty Boop. These are all things that they did together. And then I said, her husband was still here. And in my mind, I walked into his house. I seen a coal stove. I seen are you guys waving to each other?
I'm waving to the
No.
commenters there.
Oh,
Sorry.
I didn't see that. Okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just so like involved in all this. So hi everybody. But and so
Sorry.
I seen everything, and I was like, and then I went to a gold hassock, and in the gold hassock was a gun, and I said he's going to take his life, and so I said they need to get the gun. I told them exactly where the gun was. So then the next day they called me, and I had kind of forgotten about it, and they called me up and they said we got the gun, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I said, you know what, let me go talk to somebody. And that's when I really realized that there was something that was not normal. I mean, it was okay going to sleep at night and sleeping with a hoodie on and getting up and doing messages in the bathroom. I still didn't realize it, you know, but this was like, oh, maybe you should talk to somebody. So I did. And I went to this woman and she was doing a mediumship class. And there was about 30 people in the class. And I'm sorry if the story takes too long.
No,
And
please.
No,
okay,
no, we want to hear.
okay.
Yeah.
And there was about 30 people in the class, and she looks at me, and I was painfully shy. And she goes, "You." And I'm like looking around. I go, "Me." And she goes, "You have the gift." And I'm like, "Me?" And she goes, "I see you out there. I see you on stages. I see you, on TV. I see you on radio. I see you writing books." And I'm like, "Me?" I'm like, "I don't even like people. Like nothing. Like, and I certainly don't like dead people." And she goes, "Please listen to me." And then I did. And it was that point that I really realized, even despite all the years that I knew something was off and that it was different and that I knew things that people didn't know, it was then that I really realized, wow, I'm a medium. Like I'm supposed to be out there. And she said to me, "You were born to be out there." And that's when it took me another year to listen. And then I went and doors opened without me touching the handles.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's amazing. That is incredible. And it's so wonderful to hear about experiences that mediums have had as to like how it like has opened up for them because each story is
Mhm.
unique and different.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always just thought I was a weirdo. Now I'm still, but
All the best people are weirdos, right?
this is true. This is true.
So Patty, we have had the pleasure of working together, which was awesome. I truly had an amazing time, and it was a good event. Now I have to ask you a little bit of an oddball question, if that's okay.
Sure.
Not so much connected to the event. I just wanted to say that I loved working with you.
I working with
um,
it was amazing.
so I'm gonna get a little deep here, if that's okay.
Okay.
Um, Two questions, I guess. One is, are you a believer in a higher power, like a God, for lack of a better phrase? And two, do you believe that mediumship can only exist if one has that faith or that trust in God?
Oh, wow. Two very good questions. Um,
I told you I was going to ask some zingers.
I do definitely. I was actually born and raised Catholic, so
Okay.
believe, I do believe in a higher God for sure. And I know there's so many different denominations, and so many people have their own beliefs and everything. Um,
Hmm.
and I believe in a series of other things too, because I know there's so much out there.
Hmm.
Um, and I also believe that you have to have some type. You have to believe in something to be able to do this. Like there's
Hmm.
something that's pulling you to
Hmm.
do it. So whatever that faith may be, whether it's a god or the god or a goddess or something else, there's something out there that's making you believe and trust in them and then trust in your gifts.
Well said. Nice.
Thank you. You put me on the spot. I was really terrified for
No, no, no. Sorry. I'll try to not get too crazy.
okay, good. That was great. I love this. I think this is great. This is so much fun.
Awesome. Awesome.
So how do you use like when you work with your mediumship, do I forget the exact terminology, I should know this. Um, do you see, do you hear, do you feel, do you like have tastes that come in your mouth? You know, the different types of gifts that come within mediumship.
The
How
different
does that
clairs.
work for you?
I have all of them.
Hmm.
So um anything could come into play. I could see, I could feel. My body will actually display things as well. Like if somebody had a heart attack, my heart will hurt. If somebody um, lost a leg, I'll start limping, or I'll put my foot up in the air. It's kind of amazing. Um, so I'll start doing everything. I could smell, I could anything. Like I had to stop long ago going into malls or different things because I would feel so much that I almost
Hmm.
had to remove myself from large crowds.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
So, so you would feel like everything that's going on within crowds, and so you had to kind of like separate yourself a little bit more.
yes, like if somebody came in and they were like really sad, all of a sudden, like, before I started going into my gifts, I'd be in the mall and be like, wow, I feel really sad. Like all of a sudden, like out of nowhere. Or if somebody was upset about something, I would just get angry about something, or if somebody was hurting. It was the weirdest thing. And then I realized, because I never really knew the extent, like I said, until that time, like that one encounter, even though my whole life, it just makes sense. I mean, I've seen things happen that I wasn't supposed to see and just thought it was a normal thing.
Mhm.
And but that's how it works for me. And so many different things happen. And I have almost like my body becomes their body. It's so weird. I'll take on their mannerisms. So I have anything that they want me to feel. Like when I'm reading,
Mhm.
I could see things, but they're only going to show me the face of the person if they want me to describe something, because they know when I'm reading, I'm going to describe everything I'm feeling, everything I'm hearing, everything I'm seeing, everything I'm tasting, anything, even to the point where if I'm in the room, okay, and as I'm reading, I don't notice a lot of things when I'm reading, but if I happen to look over and go, my eye's on that fire alarm over there,
Mm.
right? And then I'll go and say, was somebody a fire marshal? Like, if I'm observing something, like I was doing a private event the other day and they had a raccoon, and I pulled somebody aside to read them afterward, and I go, that's a cute raccoon. And then I go, why did I say that? And I go, it's really weird that I said that. And then she had a story about a raccoon that was actually killed in front of her. The police came to her house
Oh,
and her loved
Oh,
one was
wow.
talking about it. Yeah.
no kidding.
So they only show me. That's why I could see the people, but when I'm reading, I don't, because then I'm going to describe. So if they want me to see a scar on the
Okay.
face, or a way the beard was, or if there was a cleft lip, then I'm going to see that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So kind of based on the person in spirit is kind of how it, would you say that the person in spirit dictates how they use your clairs? Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
absolutely. What they want that person to know about them, because you know me, I'm all about evidence.
Hmm.
So whatever they want me to say to them, and whatever is important. So I believe that that person in spirit, and I also believe that my spirit guides and their spirit guides are kind of guiding that.
Nice. It's interesting when we work together. Your ability to really dig deep and get into the depth of the information that's coming through is really impressive. And one also thing that I found that was really impressive, and I was hoping to pick your brain about, is you do not accept no as an answer, and I think that is amazing, right? And I just wonder, where did that I would say discipline and like that knowledge that like no, like you might, the person that you're sitting across from might say no to you, but like when they really stop to think about it, they figure it out. And I watched it in person. Like when somebody said no to you, you were like, yeah, no, 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 think about it, like stop yourself and listen to what I'm saying. And then they go, oh my god, yeah, that you're totally right, you know what I mean? So where did you develop that skill, and how did it come to you, I guess is the best way I could say it.
Maybe it was my bitchometer. No, I'm joking. Joke. Um, I don't know. It's just when I just kind of learned, because I've never, been taught. Like I went to that one class, but I never went to. It wasn't really a class. It was just where people came in, and then the woman told me I had the gift. So I've
Right.
never had any type of formal training or anything like that. I just realized pretty quick on, like I was thrown on a stage and I was thrown in the middle of people, and so it was either swim or drown, and so
Right.
I swam, and I realized very quickly that people forget, like they're not
Yes.
thinking, and yeah, and that's why I say, instead of saying no, try thinking, and
Yeah.
so many people could come through. You could be a nurse and one of your patients could come through. You could get an old neighbor that comes through. You could get
Right.
an ex-boyfriend that you haven't seen in 20 years, and somebody in his little family is coming through to you. And
Hmm.
so I have to ask them to expand things. And I say everything happens for a reason. So I
Right.
made it one of my rules. And that's one of my 4 rules, don't say no to me. And there's a reason. And also with me, it's a little bit different too, because I switch so quickly.
Hmm.
Like, and you've seen how people have, well, I don't know if you did see, because I don't know if it happened that night, but usually people have similarities when they're in my audience,
We did see that. Yeah.
to the point like I could be on stage, okay, and I could be reading the person in the first row in seat 3. I could also be reading the person in the fourth row in seat 3. And I could also be reading the ninth row, seat 3.
Hmm.
And they're all sitting in the same spot, which is to this day still amazes me. So that's why I just, I don't I don't know that anybody's told me to say no. I just learned to say, don't say no, just listen, because if you stop listening, you're not going to be able to get the message. And I had to get really aggressive. And sometimes, people say she doesn't take anybody's, anything. And really, I'm kind of like a pushover. It's just when I'm reading, you have to, that it's you're there to give a message. You're there to help someone. You're there to make them realize that love sees all, believes all, never ends. And how are you supposed to do that if they're not paying attention to you?
Right. I fully admire that, and I love that about you. I just watching it in action, I was like, that's good. I like that a lot.
Thank
So
you.
kudos.
It came out of nowhere. Like, I don't know. And I was like, oh, because I'm a different person. Even one day I went on stage, and I'm not normally a swearer, and I was doing a show at Mohegan Sun, and every word that came out of my mouth, because we mimic people, and
Right.
people come in, and I must have had a lot of swearers that day. I came off the stage and I cried. Like,
Oh no.
I was
Oh
like,
no.
that, because your body kind of takes over. And
Hmm.
so, and it's true, like, these people are in front of you. This is your career. This is what you do. This is what you were born to do. And you just have to make sure that you give it 100% each time, which we all have to do. And we have to go outside of our ego
Hmm.
and let that happen. I guess my ego is a mean person. So, or my mind, something. Like, I always loved John Edward. I loved him. And he
Yeah.
actually predicted that I would do that.
No
And
kidding.
I was in a reading. It was a group reading. My dad had just died, and I had won tickets to go see him. And it's not one, we paid for them, but it was like a lottery at the time. You couldn't just get in. And so we went in, and there was about 300 people in that room. It was in Long
Wow.
Island. Yeah. And he started reading me, and he told me, he said, he didn't say it was going to be this. He said, you're going to do something. It's going to be like a teacher. He said, except you were born with it. He said,
Hmm.
and you're going to reach a lot of people. He goes, and you're going to be on TV and different things like that. He goes, and you're going to help a lot of people. And I'm thinking, and he goes, and you don't need to go to school for it, even though you're going to teach people and reach people. He said, because you were born with it.
Wow.
And I was like, what could that be? Not, I told you, it took me a long time. That hit me over the head. I tried to run. They wouldn't let me.
Right.
When I went into this, I used to joke around and say I was the fraidy cat medium, because
Yeah.
I was literally afraid of ghosts. Like, I know you do the paranormal, which I think is so fascinating. And I wish I had, like, I know I talk to dead people, but my rules are like, don't touch me.
Yeah. Right.
Different things like that. And I went into this kicking and screaming, and so it's a little bit different, I guess, for me. But I have so much, for the things that you guys do. It's amazing to me.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And you are
So,
amazing. And I didn't mean to stop you, Raven. Like, watching you and the things that you did when we had our gallery together, you were quite amazing. I just need to tell you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
so out of with when you first started doing seances, what was your very first experience like? Like, were you nervous?
Oh God, yes. Every time. For a while, like, I had a really hard time with the concept of people paying me for something that was just me, right? Like,
Hmm.
it was just weird. Like, how do you take money for who you are? You know
Hmm.
what I like? I had a really hard concept with that. And then I was really shy, and I had to learn to just trust in what I'm hearing and just say it, and turn, like, yourself off and just do a blank space. And that's what I kind of say when I do it. And it was so difficult. I'm trying to think of my first, I don't even know. I've done so many shows now. I'm trying to think of what my first one was.
Hmm.
When I first started, I started doing, like, because I had an office within months, and I started doing galleries of like 35 to 40 people. And I would just do that all the time. And I'm trying to think of where my first, like, bigger event was. Oh, actually, I think it was in New York. It was 215 people. Um, and I was nervous, but you just had to, believe. Like, I just went into this like, okay, I was born like this. They wanted me to do this, and I'm just going to trust in that. And it's
Hmm.
not about me, and it's not me out there. It's these people that are coming in that are trying to reach their loved ones. And I had to think like that. And then I came to the point is I'm not meant to be right and I'm not meant to be wrong. I'm meant to give you the messages as I hear them. And then the person that I'm reading has to do the rest. And I think that gave me a pass not to be afraid.
Wow. Now, oh, go ahead.
So you always have that thing where if somebody's coming to see you for the first time and what they're going to think, because you always think, well, that is my name on the line, when you're there and somebody's not getting something that you're saying. So then, there's been times where I've been standing there praying, could you please give him something else? Like just one more thing, like, where I'm praying to myself while I'm on stage. But usually it all goes so great. I don't really get stage fright anymore.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of go with the flow, right?
You have to, you really have to, because there's nothing else. And I pray every time I go, like I do my prayer to my guides, my loved ones on the other side. I always call them in, and I always call in Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael, and then of course God. And I ask for anything that's going to happen that night to be for everybody's highest good. And I ask that if there's people there that can't hear the messages or aren't willing to accept them, that they not even be there. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but there's so many people that want to be there.
Right. So on that same line, there's always going to be skeptics that come to these shows. There's always going to be people that are there to prove that you are not who you say you are, right? I've experienced it. I'm sure Raven has, and I know you have, Patty. But how do you handle things like that, or do you just let spirit do the talking?
I let spirit do the talking, and then I'll kind of like afterward, when I see I'm actually changing them before my eyes, I'll go, how do you like me now? I'll say something really funny like that. I've had people that came in. I went to this one event and there was a man there, and I didn't walk into the room yet, so I didn't know what had happened. And and could we swear or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Because this takes a swear in it. Okay. So
You know me, I'm a swearer.
I walk into the room and I look at the man. I go, "What's with the bullshit?" I just walked right up to him. And apparently, before I walked into the room, he said, "This is all bullshit." Until I brought in his daughter, until I brought in, there was an accident and he had hurt himself and all these different things. He kept going up to the bar, walking up to the bar, going, "What is this?" And another time there was a lady, I was at a library doing something and I was reading her and she really didn't believe. She came and it was free for them. Like they pay me, but those are, I think, almost like where you get any person that really doesn't believe. And she came in and her friend was coming through from the other side and she was a teacher and she was talking to her and she kept saying to me, "But how?" I'm like, "Because I talk to dead people." "But how?" "Because dead people are still here. When you die, you really don't die." "But how?" So I've turned a lot of skeptics, but what's funny? I find when you turn that skeptic, then afterward, they're going to try to find something like,
Oh yeah.
What was it? Then they'll come again and go, because the guy that time I said, "You're going to be back again. You're going to have a Patricia hoodie on and you're going to be sitting in my audience." He's come back 5 times. No Patricia hoodie, but he's come back 5 times.
I love it. I love it. It's like, and sometimes those people too, like I've had a gentleman that was, I mean, I swear to God, I think he was just, no matter what I told him, he didn't want to buy it. But I said to him in a reading, I said, "Your dad's coming through. He drove a green truck. It had a crucifix hanging from the rearview mirror. It was a standard transmission and the second gear, it would stick, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, no, I don't think so." And I'm like, "Well, what about that didn't click for you?" He goes, "Well, you said it was a red truck. It was really a green truck. So you're wrong." And I'm like, "Dude, give me a
Wow.
break."
And,
I will never forget that as long as I live. And I'm like, "You son of a bitch."
but you're right.
I didn't
They're
say
not
that to him, but
you say to them. They're going to try to find something, or they come in wanting one person, or you
yes,
tell them 18 things and there's one thing that they asked for that maybe we're not able to get. Maybe a different medium could get it because we all have
right.
our own.
You could
And
tell them their social security numbers, but if you get their eye color wrong, then nope, that's it. It's all kaput.
exactly. They hear what they want to hear. And,
Hmm.
lucky for us, so many people do get it and they come back again and again,
Yes,
and we're doing our job. And that's to let them know that their loved ones are with them and they're giving them that message.
absolutely.
Yeah. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's great. And I absolutely loved working with you. I just think that, what we do is so important. And to have two people doing that was just so special.
I agree. And I
And
can't wait to do it again.
yeah, in March.
That's right.
Yes. Ooh, did we lose you?
Oh, you
Yeah,
still there, Raven?
it went like out for like a second.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, sorry about that.
No
Um,
worries.
well, that's pretty amazing. Like just the experiences that you've had and how you are able to, you know, be just like come from a space of like speaking from spirit and, kind of putting those people in their place without even trying. It's
Right.
great.
You have to be assertive when you read, because like I said, you're there for your job, to do your job, and then it's your reputation too, so you can't let anybody try to walk on you.
Right.
Right.
Could I ask
What
you a
is,
question, or am I not allowed to do that?
oh, you can do that, of course.
No, I'm just wondering, and I don't know how it works for you, so I'm just wondering because something recently happened to me. Do you find that a lot of like, and I know we read very different, but do you find like a lot of things happen so you have a personal experience, like almost like in your Rolodex here to give to people?
Aha.
Yes.
Because for me it was so weird. Like on Saturday, my daughter was going on a cruise, and she called me up and she said, "Mom," she said, "they kicked us off the flight." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, right. You got kicked off the flight." She's like, "No, we really did." And she didn't do anything wrong, but she followed her friends because there was 33 people going on a cruise, and three of them were going at the same time, on the same
Ah.
flight. So the next day I go to a group, and I get to the group, I start doing my directions, and a lot of times when I do my directions, I've already started before I started.
Hmm.
So, and I say just to them, last night my daughter got kicked off a plane. No, no idea why I'm saying that, right? Then I start doing the reading, and it just happened 12 hours before. I look at the woman, I go, I have to say it again. Did somebody get kicked off a plane? Because her loved one was talking about that memory. And she was on a plane. There was a man next to her who was doing very inappropriate things and looking at very inappropriate material. And the flight attendant came over and she called the woman by name. She goes, "Could you come with me?" And she took her aside. She goes, "What's going on over there?" So she told him, and he got escorted off the plane. But
Oh,
24
wow.
hours before that, I didn't have that memory. And then,
Right.
did they plan that? Did my daughter get kicked off the plane so I would have the memory the next day? Like, is that not weird?
The divine intervention, right? I think truly
It really is, but it just amazes me.
it does amaze me as well.
Yeah,
Me
because
too. It's crazy how
yeah,
those
because
things end up happening.
yeah, and the timing of that, I was like, okay, if it happened 2 weeks ago, I'd be like, okay, cool. But the
Hmm.
night before, her flight was at 9 o'clock the night before, and this was
Oh,
at
wow.
o'clock the next afternoon.
That's cool. So yeah, I think that I think that like I said, divine intervention. I think that God or a higher power, whatever, was like you need to know what this sign and symbol is in order to portray it in a way that she's going to understand. And it just so happened that your poor daughter had to experience that, but not for nothing, it was able to deliver a message which ultimately helped somebody, which I think is worth it, right?
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Have you had, I've had these experiences before, but have you had experiences where when you're doing mediumship for someone, it becomes a very unique, special experience because, in a way, it ends up creating healing you don't expect for yourself as well?
Wow. Great
Yeah,
question.
that is a great question. Absolutely, absolutely. There's so many things that happen in that aspect where you could feel them healing right in front of you, and
Hmm.
then it just, I don't know, it brings me joy and just such a peace too, and I'll think about it after, and yeah, it just touches me in such a way.
So
And,
I'm. Oh, go ahead, Raven.
oh no, go ahead.
So I'm just curious about. obviously we're all very empathic people, or we wouldn't really be able to do this, right? Um, I have to ask you, Patty, when you're doing a reading for somebody and something really heavy comes up, or there is that real heavy release of emotions due to that healing, are you able to control your own emotions during that time? Or is it something where you're in the flow and you're in the moment and your empathy is working, but it's not affecting you? Does that make sense?
Yes, I think my empathy is always working, but I do feel it's not affecting me. Like there's been probably a time or two where I was almost reduced to tears, or I was, but
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yep.
a very sensitive person. But when I'm reading, I don't like to use this expression because it's not how I am, but almost like you have to become a robot, which I'm not. So I don't like that term.
No, I know exactly what you mean though.
They have to protect you. It's like they build a shell around your heart. Because how are we
Yes.
getting through? We deal with people losing their children and their
Oh my
husbands and
God. Yeah. Yep.
tragedy, tragedies. And
Hmm.
anybody would break down crying. And
Yeah.
we have to, and we're so, and that's why I think for us, like there's so much we have to do to clear and release things because they're not, our emotions. And
Right.
so when I'm reading, as empathetic as I am about it, after I'm like, oh my God, but
Hmm.
while I'm reading, I can't break down and cry, nor you can't break down and cry because you have a job to do.
Right.
And it is our job. And so if you're breaking down with them and, you're in a pool of tears, they're going to be like, what did I come see? you know, so you're like guarded from it. And I have to find a better thing than like robot. I guess I like the protection thing. It's almost like we're protected.
Protected emotionally. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because we have to be. And, you have to release those things. And when I first started, I used to remember everything I read. And I know some people
Oh
don't,
wow.
they let it go, and now
Right.
I get a lot because they're not our emotions.
Right.
They're not, we can't put on our physical thing. We'll get sick. And so, and I always say they're not ours to have. So this is why I have no retention. And the same goes for the emotion. Just like
Hmm.
the retaining, I just retain what I need to as I'm reading, but the emotion part, the same thing. You can't have that in what we do and help people.
Right. I fully agree with that.
I
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah, because we've helped so many. I mean, so many. There's a tragedy every time you go, and then you think you hear another one, and then you hear another thing, and it's
Yeah.
so sad. And they're coming to us like, what did we do to get in this position? Like they're coming to us to heal them. Like,
Yeah.
wow,
It's pretty wild.
yeah, like, and we do, and it amazes me.
Hmm.
It's an incredible, I feel like it's an incredible responsibility and an incredible gift to be able to be that person for that individual, to have that connection with their loved one who has crossed over, and also at the same time be present for them as they're doing their own healing process. Like just being
Hmm.
present can be a huge thing.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. I always call it a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
What would you say has been, I don't know if this is the right wording for it. Um with being a medium, what is one of the biggest challenges that you see yourself on occasion experiencing, that you've, like, when you were first starting out versus now, like with, the boundaries and the things that you have now that are strong? What were some of the challenges you had as you were starting out?
Wow, that's
Mm.
a great question. And I have a great answer, I think. So when I first started out, I didn't realize because I remember like, my kids were younger when I started out and, I'm a mom of three and I used to love to take them, to places. We go to Six Flags and we go to different places. And when I first started doing it, I would get so exhausted.
Hmm.
They would drain me because the way that they would come in, just like weren't taking turns and just would come in with all these different things. And it would just be exhausting to me. So I remember that woman that I told you about, the one that I went and she said I had the gift. I said to her, well, what do I do about this? Like, how do I tell them, like, what I expect? Like, they can't bother me when I'm sleeping or they need to do this. And she goes, you just tell them you have a rule. And I'm like, what? She goes, like, when you tell your kids there's a rule. Like, when you go places and there's rules for things. And I'm like, no, care. I'm like, I just have to tell them, don't do that. She goes, yeah. And I did. And it worked. And I was like, hit the easy button. I'm like, really? Like, all I had to do was tell them. So what was happening, like they'd be intruding my sleep or, intruding on my sleep or doing these different things and not taking turns. I'd feel like I got hit by a bus. And I said, if you don't take turns, I'm not going to help you. It's as simple as that. And I'm like, oh, it worked. Yeah. And then they took turns and they listened to me. And I think that was the biggest challenge for me with the most easiest solution.
That's it's very cool that you say that because early on in the things that I was taught was very similar to the same thing. Somebody said, I was like, oh, how do you stop them from coming in all at once and doing one at a time? And someone goes, tell them to come in one at a time. And I was like, that's it. And they're like, yeah, that's as easy as that. Like, work with them, and that kind of builds up to my next question, Patty. Um, do you ever find that even to this day, and I'm asking because this happens to me, so I'm just curious if it happens to you as well. And Raven, you can chime on this as well too, because we're all doing mediumship. So after a particular reading, and say it didn't go, and this is more, it sounds like an egotistical thing to say, and I'm not trying to make it sound that way. But sometimes after a reading, if it didn't go the way I wanted it to go, I will say, what did I do wrong when I'm talking to my guides? What could I have done to maybe facilitate the message a little better? And I'll have that back and forth with my guides and try to figure out a better plan. Do you ever experience that, or does that ring true? Do you think?
So it took me a very long time to realize that it wasn't me having a bad reading, it was them not understanding something.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
And so it's not on us. And it took me a long time to understand that because I would feel really bad about it. I'd be like, oh,
right,
because we want everything, and I think we're our own best, I'm sorry, our own worst critics, right? And we want everything
yes,
to go perfect because why wouldn't we?
hmm,
And when that happens, you know, you know, I'm sorry that people coming through now as I'm trying to talk because they're trying to read something for Raven, so I'm trying to put them aside so I could do my thing. But when that happens, we have to realize that it's not us. Like
right,
that person just wasn't accepting of it, or maybe they weren't open to it, or maybe they didn't say something when we were saying it, or maybe they didn't admit something. And that's what makes it difficult for us because we want everything to go, oh my God, that was amazing. And sometimes you go, wow, what was that? you
right,
know, and then so I think for you, you have to learn that it's not you because you're amazing and you could only do what the person allows you to be. Like I always say to
right.
people, I could only be as good as you let me. And then I
That's
said,
true.
I'm really good at what I do, but I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And I think not every person, like, do you like every person you meet? So not every person might like our reading, which lucky for us, they usually do, right? But that's how you have to see it, I think.
I think that's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I feel like I'm in the cool kids club. Like I love talking with people like so like minded. This is like really neat.
It is super neat.
It really is.
Yeah.
I agree as well. I got to a point where for me it was like the message is the message, and I do my best to try and help a client like process through it, but it may be that some of the things that they're hearing click a little bit later on if it doesn't come through right away in the beginning. And so I started trusting that spirit was just going to give the message that was necessary, and that was it. And I didn't have to like, question it, but it does happen sometimes in the beginning. It takes a little bit to get to that point of like just acknowledging that like you're this wonderful person that's being given the messages, and you're doing the utmost best that you can do for that person, and that's all you can do because they're going to give you whatever is necessary.
Right.
that they think is necessary for the individual or individuals to hear. So I think that eventually that will go away to where you're not questioning it because you're amazing and you just don't even know how amazing you are. So yeah.
Oh wow, that's very deep. I love that.
Gonna make me freaking cry.
No, it's
Aw.
true. And it's we really could only be as good as they let them. Like, you know what I say to people? I say, I don't trust the living. Like when they're
Yeah.
saying, you know, I don't trust the living. I only trust dead people because dead people never forget their memories. Dead
Right.
people
Right.
never forget their own name. Like I could be reading somebody and go, well, where does the J go? You know, like Jennifer, and they're like, I don't have a J, and they're like, oh, my name's Jennifer, and I don't know their name because in the middle of a 200-person group, you
Right.
know, and so if they don't remember the memories, and that's why it kind of falls on them. And even though it's a sad thing, it doesn't happen a lot, but we have to realize that our guides are going to protect us. Our loved ones aren't going to put us in a frying pan and turn on the boiler and say, okay, go. They're trying to make sure that we get our message across to people. And so they're giving us everything that we need, but maybe the people that are sitting in the chair aren't giving everything that they need to give to it, or maybe they're not understanding it.
Right. And sometimes too, I think there's I jokingly call it psychic amnesia. Like I was doing a gallery for somebody, and I literally there was a woman and her two children were next to her, and I said, "Ma'am, you're here. You're not alone, right?" I said, "You have two children with you today," and she goes, "No," and her kids were like, "Mom, we're like right here," and she was just like she didn't. She was so overwhelmed she couldn't. It wasn't processing. And so I jokingly call it psychic amnesia, but
Yeah, that's why I don't trust the living. Could I just say something? Somebody said a wonderful speaker on the comments. I seen it, and I just wanted to say thank you. So I just seen it
That
pop
was
up. I just wanted to
yeah,
say
that
thank
was
that's
from
yeah.
Samaya. She's great.
you.
She
Oh,
is
I love
great. She is
Samaya. I
awesome.
couldn't see the name. I could just see that. I love Samaya. She's the sweetest.
Hmm.
So, but this is a lot of fun. But yeah, and it's fun because we're talking about things that are going to educate people, but then
Yes.
there are things that help us too. And then it's
Hmm.
like similar situations, and not everybody's a medium. So
Right.
That's
Right.
true.
so for us to be sitting with three people that are so like-minded is really cool.
It is very cool. I love the fact that we are able to converse like this. It's almost like, you know, uh, it's like getting to talk to your buddies at Hogwarts, and just kind of have that back and forth, which is nice.
Exactly. And when I'm reading, Chris, I point to, you see me freakishly point to people when I'm reading, right?
Hmm.
You
Oh
see me
yeah.
do, and that's because I never trust the living. So if I'm looking at somebody and they say no to me, even though I ask them not to, and then they say no, and then I'll say, I'll go to the other side. Am I here? And they'll go, oh, absolutely. And I'll be like, no, sorry, yeah, I'm here. Like I'm not
Yeah.
moving.
Right. You're gonna
But
have to deal with it because it's coming.
exactly. And they forget. And how could we get their memories if they're forgetting? Because we don't know their memories. We only know our own. And so
Right.
if if it takes you four pieces to get to that one puzzle, because sometimes mediumship, I know in the way that I read, sometimes it is pieces. And then you put this together and this together and this together. And then it all relates into a message, but it might not come in the first 30 seconds. It might take 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. To that point, I have to ask you this. I always say that in readings that like we as mediums we lack context. So I have no idea what they're talking about. As long as you do, the person I'm reading for knows, that's what's
Oh,
most
yeah.
important. Now, I've had people ask me this and they say, "Well, why don't they just tell you everything and why don't they just spill it out for you so you can spell it out to me?" What is your response to that? I know what my I feel about that, but why do you think that is?
Okay, let me think how I could articulate that. So when they say, how come they don't just say the things? I always
Right,
say,
like how come they don't give us context? How come they just let us leave it open to interpretation or our own interpretation, right?
well, exactly. Like when I say, I'll just blurt out something, right? If there's
Hmm.
something about a pirate, like I don't know where that came from, but and if I'm going to say that, like if there was a story with that, then I'm not going to know the whole story of it because they're not. it's not like you and I are alive and we're speaking. It's not like that, as we know.
Right.
So they're going to
Right.
give us one piece of it, and then we give it to the person,
Hmm.
and I don't think people realize that we're reading off of their frequency,
Right.
Right.
like they are like, back in the day, my dad had this big radio antenna, right? And if their antenna is a little off, right? Or if they're not getting the messages, then it's not going to go that clear to them. And so
Right.
the way the other side gives us things, sometimes things are more crystal clear than the other, but I base a lot on memories, and you can't get
Hmm.
another person's memory. And so
Right.
they're telling us stuff, and we get some really specific stuff. Like there's just no way of even knowing.
Right.
And if somebody's questioning that, but I think the biggest thing is why people don't get things or is that they're expecting something. And I always tell
Ah,
people,
okay.
yeah, don't expect, because what if you come in thinking, oh, I want to hear from mom? But what if it's not mom? What if it's your old neighbor? What if it's,
Right.
somebody different? And so, and you don't get, because I know I do, and I'm sure you guys do, we read for their highest good. And
Yes.
so what they feel may be good, for their highest good, may not be what the other side knows that they need. And
Right.
what if the other side needs closure? What if they need to speak something or say something or bring something?
Ah, great
And
point.
yeah, people don't think like that. What if they need to apologize? What if they need to go,
Yes.
not, yeah. And people don't think that, but that is what happens.
I love that you brought that up because there are so many people that think once you pass on to the spirit world that everything is all divine and love and light, which it is, but like there's no need for forgiveness or remorse or anything like that. And I'm sure you got both have experienced this. So many times people come through in the spirit world that need to be healed as well. They want to say, I'm sorry I wasn't present in your life as much as I would have wanted to, or I'm sorry we got into that argument before I passed away. And it's healing on both sides. So that's a great point that you made.
Absolutely, it
Definitely.
really is. I was doing a reading the other day, and it was a private reading, and the girl was really, really upset because something had happened where she felt that she, you know, made her mother sick because she was exposed to something, and then her mother got the sickness. Her mother came through and said, if it wasn't that, I would have died a tragic death. I would have died within the same month, the same time, except I would have fallen, and I may have, went brain dead, like right in front of your father or something like that. And so there are things that they need to speak in that way.
Mhm.
Oh, we all went silent for a minute.
Just this is processing that. I'm just like, wow, and it's true. It's so true.
Yeah.
Healing
And
on both sides. It's a thing.
It
and
definitely is.
there's so much that we could talk about, because I mean, we could sit here and do this for 12 hours and still have more to say.
Oh, I
You know,
know.
Oh,
After
yeah.
after every show, Raven asks me, she goes, or says, is there any other questions you have for the guest? And I'm always like, God damn it, I have so many friggin' questions I want to ask. It's like question overload. But yeah, so
I
I'll leave the next one for you, Raven.
I mean, um, it's just I love what you said about healing on both sides, because a lot of the times the clients that come to me personally are they've lost family members or loved ones from very, very, very traumatic situations. And that's just what happens when it comes to the mediumship that I do. Um, and sometimes I'll give an example. There was a lady who called, um, and unfortunately, her husband had passed away literally 24 hours before, and she was having an extremely rough time with the situation, which is understandable. So in that process, like, I was able to provide comfort, but we set something up to where we were able to meet, talk and meet later on, through, well, a phone session, to where we were able to create some healing. But a lot of these clients that come in, not all of their family members are completely ready yet, because they're healing, they're working with angels, they're processing their life. And then when they are ready, they do come through. So with my clients, unless they immediately show up for me, then I will tell them to, just wait a little while, and then we'll see. But I give whatever healing messages I can get from their loved ones, guardian angels, or their
Mhm.
ancestors, whatever I can get to actually try and help the person that's in front of me. But then I have clients who've had, the long-term thing. So it that confirms, thank you so much for saying that, because that confirms it for me that I'm not the only one that sees it that way,
Mhm.
or has that experience in that way. So it's pretty cool. The next question I have is, there is a common saying that all people have gifts of mediumships, or all people have gifts of mediumship, but not all people should be mediums.
Mm.
I know what my perspective is on that, but I would love to hear your perspective on what you think about that personally.
Okay, I'm really going to have to think about that one for a minute. Because I believe that everybody has some type of gift. Like some people are born with something, and some people are meant to do something else with it. Like we're meant to go professionally, we're meant to reach people. Some people might just be meant to help people, like in their circle, like something that they do for fun, where other people, it may never be like, maybe the universe says, well, you're not supposed to do this, you're supposed to do this for a living, and maybe this will be too much for you. And so everybody has it, but it's all to different degrees. And some people, like me, went into this kicking and screaming,
Mhm.
and some people want to do it like more like we do, but maybe they weren't meant to do it. Does that
Mm.
make sense?
Yeah, because maybe then their gift may be in a different area that they can, use it if it's not meant to be their gift. I completely understand where you're coming from there.
Mhm.
Um, I think that with mediumship, there are different ways that people do it. I was just talking to a lady yesterday who very much, she can only do it for her family. She can't do it for anybody else. But that's just her gift, and it's helped her family.
Oh yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
so much because she's able to firsthand help them. And I think there's a lot of people like that. Like some are meant to be out there. Some, like I said, get pushed into it. Some, I'm sure you didn't go voluntarily into this, Chris. I'm just saying, you know.
Me? Oh, hell no.
Oh,
No. If you had told me 10 years ago that I was going to be doing this, I would have laughed in your face.
Listen, same here. If somebody had told me this 15 years ago, said, one day you're going to be a medium and you're going to, or you're going to take your mediumship and you're going to go public and you're going to public speak, and I'd be like, no, I'll be in the corner if you need me. Okay, just give me this
Yeah.
point. Um,
Yeah, right.
so yeah, like I think like the ones that are truly meant to be out there, like we just really never had an idea that we would be out there.
Yeah. It's kind of it's a culture shock in a way. So you might have touched on this earlier too, and I might have asked you this before, Patty, but twofold to a question, another two-parter. But have you always known that you were a medium? One.
Again, I always knew that I was different. I didn't really until I got to a certain point, and then I knew, but I
Okay.
didn't know it was to that extent.
Okay. And then once you kind of clicked that you were a medium, um, and the train started rolling, did you find that it has gone by really, really fast, or have you been able to kind of um, cherish the moments bit by bit? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because sometimes it moves really, really quick. And I know for me, it's been the last 10 years have gone by in a snap, you know?
Absolutely. And even like when you do like your favorite gig or you get a new place, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. And then next thing you know, it's like, wow, it's over. like I'm I do enjoy every moment of it when I do it, but it has gone by, so quickly. Like the train took off and it went 300 miles per hour and it just kept going and it's still going. And I'm having the time of my life with it. And I try to enjoy every moment and every experience and every person that I touch.
So through your successes and through maybe things that you didn't find as a success, do you reflect on those things still?
if something didn't go the way that because again, we're our biggest critic.
Right.
Um, I kind of like I had an incident that happened not too long ago where there was a place that I was going to do, and you kind of know the story on that one.
I do.
And
Yep.
I'll let it eat me alive. Like, if you keep thinking about things like that. So I said, you kind of have to put it to a resting spot and say, all right, well, guess what? I don't need to, not meant for me, not meant for something I'm supposed to do. And if something does go wrong, I just know it's for a reason. And usually it doesn't. But if something does, for instance, if I go to a new place, okay, and tickets aren't selling well, I know something's wrong because
Hmm.
that's not what happens. And so I'll do it, but then I know that maybe that's not the place that I'm supposed to be again.
Yep.
If it doesn't, the expression where people say, okay, if it doesn't open, you might have to push it and you might have to make it open and force it and hit your body against it. Non-mediumship.
Yeah.
Like if the door doesn't open, don't force it.
Right.
Go on to the next door.
I love that. That's great.
Thank you. I've learned that. I literally, and I learned it very quickly. And it's so true. And I say, you can't force something because you have the people on the other side who want you to do well, and then there's sometimes maybe you're not meant to do this part of it or meant to do this, and so they're trying to guide you in a different way. And so if it doesn't fit, don't force it to fit.
I love that. Yep.
Thank
Gwen
you.
has a question.
Sure.
Gwen's question is, what advice would you give to someone who is still fairly new to having gifts and they still doubt themselves?
Oh, okay, I love that. Well, first of all, you have to, I would get to know my guides, right? And talk to your guides and ask them for the courage and ask them for strength and ask them where you're supposed to be. And you really have to believe in yourself because when I went into this, I didn't know, but it's not about us. You have to trust in the messages, you have to trust in the gift that you were given. And just let it happen. And even if it sounds weird or sounds abnormal, you just have to learn to know that they're not going to steer you wrong. My saying is, again, I trust the dead people because they're never going to tell you something wrong. They're never going to forget something, or they're never going to put you in the wrong direction. And
Right.
so as long as you believe and just trust, you just have to jump off the cliff and know that they're going to, the next thing you know, you're going to be up in the air like that.
That's great. And that actually reminds me of somebody that was I saw on TV, and I can't remember who exactly it was. But they said, much to what you just said reminded me of it. And they said, if how you going to know if you can fly if you don't jump?
Exactly. And
You know,
you
which
know,
sounds kind of weird, but like, you take that leap of faith, and all of a sudden you sprout wings and you're off and running, right? It's
and then you forget
scary,
what
and
the
it's terrifying, but you do it and you get through it and you're safe and you're okay. And then you're off and running.
exactly. And they're going to protect you. And when I went into this, it was so scary. But now I realize it's not me. I'm just the vessel. And
Hmm.
for that question that she had, you are the vessel, and they're going to steer you in the right direction. And I say keep going, and you're just going to know, and you're going to know what to do and where to go. And like you said, you just have to jump and
That's
pray.
great.
Pray a lot as you're jumping.
Pray a lot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So I have a question,
Okay.
and it might be a twofold question. Everybody experiences people coming through the veil in different ways.
Mm.
Like, for example, if I'm with a client, a veil will literally drop and then or pull back, and the people that want to speak will come forward, but in a line. But the way I see the other side is very different. So from your experience, how do they come forward to you? Do they come forward through a veil? Do they, how do they present themselves when they're coming through? And what does the other side look like to you? I know that's a loaded question, but I
Mm.
love hearing answers on that.
So when they come through, they're just like I don't see a veil, they're just coming. And I always say they don't take turns, like they just jump in. Like there's no like line 1, line 7, I'm here. They just kind of like jump in. Like I could be reading one person and then somebody else jumps in. And as far as for the looking, when I'm reading, it's so different for me because again, I only see what they want me to see. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not reading, like say I'm just walking in the street, I could see dead people, right? And I'm going to see different things when I'm not reading, but when I'm reading, how they look, it's really hard to explain because I get so many different things. I get images. It's almost like my mind looks like a projection screen if you were going to go into the movie theater and
Hmm.
nothing's on yet. There's no commercials. It's just pure white. And that's what my mind looks like. Then they put the first image or say the first word or give me a memory to something. And then they give something else. And that's kind of what it looks like to me.
That's cool.
And they don't like take turns. Like, so if one person's coming through, then somebody else might come through. And like my people jumpstart each other. Like it's just the craziest thing. Like I always say to my people, like when because I do a lot of groups, I do about 27 groups a month. And my biggest group has been 450 people in a 700 theater. And, I always say, like, you're reading one person and, like I'm talking to them and then up there they're going, hey, which one is yours? Oh, mine's in the pink. Oh, mine's in the purple. And then their spirits start jumping off each other. Like it's so crazy. And then it's all coming through together. So it's no veil. It's just, they just jump into my mind and don't leave. So I don't know if that's a good answer to it, but that's like the only.
No,
That's a
it
great answer. Yeah.
definitely is because I think that everybody experiences, like for me with my readings, they appear in that way, but then when I'm out and about, it's different. It's similar in the context of like you see different things when you're in different places, and if you're doing a reading for someone, they're gonna maybe come in a formation that works best for an individual. And I like the visual of a projector because the way I kind of, at least for me, the way I see it is they'll give me like, they'll send images at me so that I'll kind of get, I'll get the components together for it. So hearing that makes me feel it's always nice to get confirmation that there are other mediums out there that do this kind of thing and how it works. It's pretty
Hmm.
cool.
It's so
Hmm.
fascinating. Like, we get, because you can't just go up to anybody and swap. It's not, it's
Right.
like, oh, don't feel good today. Could I just call somebody in to go? Like, it's not the same thing.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and it's so cool because we're completely on the same page. And then we have new ways that the other person may not know. And then we're opening up those doors. And I just love it.
It is great. It is great.
So where can people find you and what kind of events do you have coming up?
So they could find me at pattygriffinmedium.com. I don't say the WW because I did that once and like that. You don't have to say the H channel. That stop. They said we're not dinosaurs. And let me think. This Sunday I will be at Mohegan Sun, and no, I'm sorry. This Saturday I will be at Mohegan Sun. This Sunday I will be at. I'm trying to think. My schedule is so busy at Madison Cinema. Then next Tuesday, I will be at Mystic Cinema. Then Wednesday, I will be at Triple Raven Brewing in Groversdale, Connecticut. And then I'll be heading towards you. I'll be in Marblehead, Massachusetts on the 11th for 2 shows. And then I'm trying to think of my schedule after that. I have so many different events, but I kind of go by the week, and then I put it in my mind what I have.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
thank you. Thank you so much. I love it. It's the greatest thing. Like we never could have imagined that that's what we were doing, but could we think of doing anything else? No,
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 No.
not
no.
at all.
It's like breathing to us. You know,
Yeah.
I know when I take days off, like for Christmas, I took like 8 days off and I know that I'm going to miss it. Like
Yeah.
I need to read somebody. And I just added a show because on the 30th, because I know that by that ninth day, I'm going to be like, I need to talk to my people. They need me.
That's right.
Exactly.
Well, with that being said, we are at our hour mark. Chris, do you have any other questions before we close?
I do have one more among many others, but well, I'll bring it down to one. So a lot of people will ask you, if you could go back to, you said you've been doing this 15 years now, right?
11 years.
11 years, sorry. So a lot of people will say, if you could go back to yourself 11 years ago, what advice would you give? But I'm going to flip that around a little bit. If you're 11 years ago, if that version of yourself could talk to you now, what advice would you give yourself now from that person's perspective, from Patty of 11 years ago's perspective?
Don't fight anything. You were chosen for a reason. Just go with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
I went in kicking and screaming. And so that's what I would, that's what I would do.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. This is fun. We have to do a part 2. I'm just going to let you know this has been so fun, and we could talk each other's ear off and pick each other's brains.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. We'll definitely do a part 2.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This has been great. I can't say it enough. And you guys are amazing. And I can't wait to work with you again, Chris. And I hope
Absolutely.
to see you one day, Raven, or see you in action. And this has been great. Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you, Patty.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gwen, would you like to come up?
Hey guys, it's been an awesome show. I think everybody has enjoyed it. And yes, Patty, please, we're gonna put you on the list to come back next year. Well, at the first part of the year.
I would love
Yes, please.
Yes.
It's so much fun. You guys are just delightful, and it's just great. I can't say enough about it. So thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. If you have a couple minutes, can you hold on and I'll put you down and let these two close out the show? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Bye, guys.
Patty.
Thank you.
All right, guys, you close it out.
All right.
There it is.
That was so much fun. I
Oh, man.
honestly think we could probably have stayed up all night with her just talking and asking questions
I
and getting
know.
her perspective on things.
I fully, I mean, she is such a wealth of knowledge and just a delightful person. I mean, she is truly an earth angel, I think. And I'm so grateful to have met her and to have her on the show with us. And this hour went by so fast, but I think that is a great sign of good conversation.
Definitely. I got the opportunity to meet Patty at a brunch type thing for one of the events that was going on. And she's just so much fun to talk to. I was hanging out with Thomas and we talked for a while, and she's I can just see her energy is so full of light. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and close out for tonight. Our next show is Monday night, 9:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Carl and his brother this next week?
I believe it is Carl Johnson. Now, you asked me that last week too, and I didn't know who. I couldn't remember. So don't hold me accountable for that. But yes, I do think it's Carl Johnson.
Yeah, him and his brother. So
Yes,
it'll
that'll be great.
tons of fun. And with that being said, good night, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.